Hey crafty friends, my name is Linda Dolke. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Here in Australia, and today we're making this beautiful card. It's made with the Still Scenes bundle, and it makes these beautiful snow globe cards, and I thought this one in purple looked amazing. So I hope you'll enjoy watching it with me and making it for yourself. So today's card is going to be this very special snow globe card. You can see here that the globe has got lots of little sparkly bits inside with a little reindeer and some pine trees, and it actually is very easy to make, so don't panic if it looks hard. I'll show you how easy it is to do. We're going to be using this stamp set, the Still Scenes, although the only thing I've actually used from the stamp set on this card is actually the greeting, but it is part of the bundle that includes these fabulous scene building dies. They're actually called Snow Globe Scenes dies. Okay, and as you can see, there's lots and lots of little bits and pieces. So there's a few of them that we're using for this very simple card. We're going to be using the trees, little pine trees. We're going to be using the reindeer. We're going to use this really cool kind of filigree embellished base for the snow globe, and then this is the basic snow globe shape. And the other thing that is probably the most important of all is the basic snow globe shape. Okay, so let's pull those out. I haven't done all of it. I haven't included the little houses or churches. This little guy here actually cuts out the scene that's in the stamps, which I'm not using on this card, but it's super cute. And then there's also some little polar bears, a mama and a baby polar bears. So really, really cute set. And you can create so many different ideas, both with the snow globes and also just as stamped in their own right. So let's quickly put all this together and I'll show you how easy this is to do. I'm going to start with a piece of, this is Highland Heather. So I decided to go with the purples today. I really love, I was inspired by one of the papers in the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. So let me show you that. This is not a full pack. I've actually completely gone through and used lots of it, but you can see it's got these beautiful photographic images on one side, realistic looking, lifelike. Aren't they gorgeous? Just beautiful. I mean, some of them remind me of winter. This is the one I'm using today, and that's the one that inspired me to do this in the purples, because I thought, oh, that would be nice. I haven't seen a lot of purple cards. Then there's also, you know, more wintry kind of ones. Oh, that's upside down. Very wintry, and so is that one. But some of them aren't so wintry. Some of them could be any time of year, like this pink, that could be any time of year as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. And on the back, they've got all these lovely silver and white foil designs. Aren't they gorgeous? So you can see they are just scrumptious. But the one I'm using today is, as I said, that purple one. And so you can see I've got it here in the background. So here is a piece. I've already pre-cut it. So I've measured mine so that it fits just inside my card base. Now here in Australia we use metric measurements, so I'll put those up on the screen for you. If you're interested in the imperial or US measurements, I'll include those as well, probably on the screen, and certainly I'll be putting them in the description below. So what I've done is I've cut, if you're using metric, this is 1/2 centimetre less wide on the sides and on the top and the bottom, so it just fits inside that card base. And the same with if you're doing US measurements, you're going to go 1/4 inch inside both the top and the bottom. Okay, so I've actually gone ahead and I've got my snow globe die here, and in the interest of time I've already pre-cut this, and I just positioned it up towards the top so that I've got the same amount of distance here as I do here, and to make it just nice and centered. So that's where the snow globe is going to be placed. All right, so we've gone ahead and we've cut that out. I'll just get my card base out of the way. So the first thing we're actually going to do is put the snow globe in. This is so easy. These snow globe shaker domes come as part of the suite. That includes the Still Scenes set. You can buy them. They're a pack of 10. And I'll put the price for these up on the screen for you if you're in Australia as well. Otherwise, if you're elsewhere, just contact your demonstrator or check your catalogue, and I'm sure the price will be listed there. So the cool thing about these is that they have a adhesive strip around the top and also around the bottom. So they're basically all set to go for you. So what you want to do is you want to get a paper piercing tool or a sharp edge of a pair of scissors or something like that, and we're going to start removing the top one first. So I'm just going to pop that under there and lift that up, so, and peel it off so that now that top edge is sticky. And it's as simple, seriously, as putting, seeing as we've already cut the shape and it of course matches the dies, so it's perfect. We're just going to put that straight. It's a nice snug fit. And then I just push it down so it adheres all the way around. Okay, that's done. That's attached, all right? See how nice and neat it sits in there? That's fabulous. Then I'm going to start working on my base. Okay, so as you know, we already folded our Highland Heather part of this earlier. Now, what I find with Highland Heather, it is very similar in tone to Gorgeous Grape, but Gorgeous Grape is in the Brights collection, Highland Heather is in the Subtles collection. So this is actually the Gorgeous Grape ink pad, and it tonally works really, really well. It's just like a darker shade of the Highland Heather, really, considerably darker. So I'm just going to open up my ink pad, and I'm actually getting a little bit of help from another set because I wanted, if you have a look at the original, can you see that I've got some trees in behind here? And I wanted to have a few trees, so I've actually picked one of the pine trees from the Snowfront stamp set, which is another of my favourite sets. I've used this one in other videos, and if you go back a few videos, you'll see I created some scenes with this. But I'm using this larger Christmas tree just here, and I've got it already attached to the block. And I'm going to go into my Gorgeous Grape ink pad, and because this is a darker shade, it's going to stand out really nicely on the Highland Heather. So what I did was I brought in my domed piece here. Now there's a couple of things you can do. I've actually gone ahead and put my dome in first, but if you wanted to, if you were worried about knowing where to stamp this, there's a couple of things you can do. You can just place it even before you put the dome in and actually run a pencil line around it so you know exactly where it's going to be. I'm doing it by eye, but you certainly could use a pencil line if you wished, all right? So I'm just thinking about where I would like this to be, and I want it to be right about here. So I'm just holding that in place, and I'm just going to stamp that, and then a little bit lower down I'm going to stamp a second one, so you get one dark and one light, so you can see when you position this over exactly where that's going to be. It's just right. All right, then I'm going to go with another one here, and I might just do one more to be safe over this side this time. All right, so just like that. All right, it looks rather nice just like that, but you can see when I position this over that my trees are just there in the dome exactly where I want them, because I use this kind of as a template to make sure that they were in the right place. Okay, so I'm really happy with that. The next thing we're going to do is I've already gone ahead and cut from those same little framelits I showed you before, these cute little trees. Here they are here. Let me pull them up again. Oh, I've already got them out. Ha, silly me. There they are. I forgot I did that. All right, so they're the ones I've already cut. And they're going to end up right in here. So once again, what I want to do is I want to test that this is in the right place. Is that right? Yeah, pretty close. I might just move it up slightly. Yeah, right about there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of Tombow multi-adhesive. I find this is great, especially if you are testing where you want something to be. And because it's a liquid glue, you've got a few seconds to move it. You're not committed to where you initially put it down because it's liquid, so you can still move it around a little bit. So that's around about there where I wanted it. But let me just, before I push it down too hard, let me just double test it. Yeah, that's pretty close. I might move it up a smidgen. See what I mean about being able to move it once you've got the glue down? All right, so now I'm going to commit. All right, there we go. Now the other thing that I've already gone and pre-cut. So this is called Sparkle glimmer paper, and that's what I've cut my trees out of. And then I've used champagne foil paper for my reindeer. Now, you could also use silver foil, but I love the champagne, and the reason why. So here are all the extra pieces. So there's the sparkle piece for cutting the piece of the reindeers, and here is the champagne glimmer. So this is similar to silver, but it's a bit softer. It's got just a slight pink or mauve tone about it, and I think it's because it's a bit softer, it blends in really nicely with this the softness of this card. So I'm going to want this to be around here. I want him to be in front of those trees, and let me just test that I'm happy with where he is. What do you think? Yeah, I reckon that's pretty close. Now I can move him up ever so slightly because when we put our little sparkly glimmery bits in, the sequins and so forth, we want them to not cover him all up, so we don't want him to be down too low. So I'm going to put him just up a tiny bit. Alright, just hold him down for a second, and that glue doesn't take very long at all to adhere. It doesn't stick as well on the glimmer paper, so I'm making sure it sticks to the Highland Heather piece, and that's going to be fine. It doesn't take very long for that to dry. Okay, and then the next thing that's going to go on is this little guy here. All right, so what I like to do, or how I like to do this, normally if I wasn't putting in the sparkly bits, I would have had him down a little bit lower so you couldn't see the base that he's standing on. But because we're going to have our sparkly sequins and things down there, they're going to cover that up. So what I've got here, a little container, is I have some snowflake sequins. The question is always how much of these do we use? I've got a bit of glue on my fingers and they're probably going to want to stick all over my fingers, but I'm going to go with a couple of good pinches, and I'm going to put them right on top of that reindeer, like right around where his head is and his back. Now why am I doing that? Because I want to, if I put them in the globe and then try and attach this with all the pieces in here, I can't line this large piece up on my card base. So I like to be able to do that. I like to be able to see where it is. So let's do a couple of good pinches of that. The secret is not putting too much in because you don't want to cover him up. So maybe a tiny bit more, so maybe 2.5 pinches. I guess it depends on how big your fingers are, hey? And then because I love a bit of sparkle, and who doesn't, we're also going to use a little bit of the ice glitter, and I'm going to whack in a good pinch or two of that. I haven't got very much of this left. Can you guess why? Because I use it all the time. Love, love, love this stuff. So, yeah, it's not going to come out in the pinch because I haven't got enough in there. So I'm just going to put a little bit on top of that. And because it's super sparkly, it's really going to ramp up the bling on this card. All right. Now I'm happy with that. You just got to make sure there's none sitting around the outside, that they're all right in the middle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our piece here, and we're going to grab our paper piercing tool again. Just going to catch that under there, and I'm going to peel that off. So now this is sticky, and I'm going to position my piece. I'm looking at the outside edges, and that piece is exactly the right size because we measured it earlier. And I'm just going to move that around here like this. Now, perfect. Just the right amount of sequins and stuff in there. And because both sides are adhesive, it's beautifully put in so those sparkly bits won't fall out. Okay. All right, let's finish off the card. It's mostly done now. I've got the base that I've cut out a piece of gorgeous grape, and I've also got one of the ornate designy pieces here that I've cut out of a piece of champagne foil, which is the same colour as the reindeer. And totally up to you if you want to use it like this with the pieces still in, or whether you want to push out some of the pieces. I do like to push some of them out, but not all. So I like to leave some in. I think it makes it a little bit more stable. If you wanted to leave all the pieces in, or most of them in, you could put dimensionals behind here, which would help hold it together. I'm going to go with a few more pieces, push them out. Whoop, this one doesn't want to go. I might need to push a little bit harder. Go. Okay, that's looking good. Get rid of that one there. So yeah, you can decide how many of these you want to let go. I think these big long ones, I'm going to leave those in. I think they look nice just where they are, and just get rid of a few more. These ones are pushing out a bit more easily. How many, like I said, totally up to you, which ones you push out, which ones you're leaving. Now, I find if you haven't got rid of most of them, you won't want to be using dimensionals behind here because you don't want to see your dimensionals. So in that case, I'm going to go back to my multi-purpose glue again, and I'm going to apply it to this piece here. Oh, I just realised I haven't put snail on here yet. Well, that was silly. Let me put a bit of that across here. I didn't put that on. I've adhered it in the middle, but I just didn't adhere it around the outside. Silly, silly, silly. That's okay. I'll come back later and add some more in here. But anyway, this piece now goes straight over this, but I'm going to use Tombow to attach it. So, just a little bit. I find you don't need much of this. And that will sit quite nicely. And I think this is gorgeous grape again, the darker colour, which is a nice, adds a little bit more contrast to the card. So now that that's attached, then I'm going to come in with my dimensionals. I've got both big size and small size dimensionals, but I'll just add a couple of small ones here. You could go with either. Just wanting to stick to my fingernails. So you can see how easy this is to do. It's a really simple card. These snow globes and the dies just make it so easy to make simple cards like this, and they look amazing. I think it's a really great set. Butt that right up against that snow globe so there's no gap between the two. Yeah, doesn't that look good? And just to finish it off, I've got here a strip of, this is shimmery white paper. I actually really love shimmery white cardstock because it's not very white. In fact, if you put it next to a white piece, it looks quite, I don't know if you can see the difference there. Can you see it? Yeah, so this is white, this is shimmery white, and the shimmery white does actually have a beautiful shimmer in it, which is probably hard to see on the camera. Now, I've also got from the same stamp set, I've actually got my gorgeous grape ink here again, and I've got this lovely Seasons Greetings stamp. So it's this one right here in the Still Scenes set, and I'm just going to come in here and stamp that right in the middle. Perfect. All right, you could daub around that with a sponge if you like, or if you're lazy like me, I just added a bit of colour just straight from the ink pad, just to make it look a little bit finished. And I added this at the bottom, and that's my card. How easy, guys. Isn't that fantastic? I love the Still Scenes bundle. I just think it makes it so easy to make these beautiful cards, and I think that little reindeer just looks perfect in amongst all those little snowflakes and ice glitter. Can you see it nice and close? It's beautiful and shiny. So I hope you enjoyed that. To me, that's a beautiful card. The Snow Scenes bundle is available in our 2019 holiday catalogue. I have included in the description a link to my online store. If you're in Australia and looking for somewhere to buy these beautiful products, head over there and you'll find everything you need to know. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.